The school hallway was quiet, too quiet. Most students had already rushed to their parents' cars, chattering and giggling, backpacks bouncing. But for Tom Reynolds, the school janitor, the work was just beginning. He wore the same uniform every day, dark blue coveralls with Mr. Reynolds stitched in white thread above the heart. He didn't mind the mop in his hand or the old floors under his feet. He was just grateful to have the job. After his wife died 3 years ago, it had been the only steady thing in his life, besides his daughter. Emma was 8 now, smart and shy. She waited for her dad every day in the school library, quietly drawing while he finished his shift. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was theirs. And Tom would rather mop floors 100 times a day than let his little girl see him give up. As Tom passed the art wing, he heard something strange, muffled sob. He paused. The sobbing came from the corner near the lost and found. He turned and saw her. A girl, maybe 7 or 8, curled up on the floor, trembling. Her hair was tied in a neat braid, her shoes spotless, but her world, at that moment, was clearly anything but. Tom's eyes softened. He bent down slowly. "Hey there, sweetheart," he said gently. "You okay?" She didn't answer, just hugged her knees tighter. Tom set his mop aside and sat down cross-legged next to her, like it was the most natural thing in the world. His knees popped. He smiled anyway. "Jano," he said after a pause, reaching into the side pocket of his coveralls. "My daughter says I carry magic in here." He pulled out a small bottle of bubbles, the kind you find at dollar stores. He uncapped it and dipped the wand. With a soft puff, he blew a stream of glistening bubbles into the air. The girl looked up, just slightly. The bubbles floated, shimmered, popped. Tom blew another set, aiming high. One landed on the girl's knee and popped silently. She blinked, startled. "There it is," Tom whispered. "A smile. I saw it." The girl's lip twitched. Another bubble floated by. She reached out, slowly, and popped it with her finger. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Lily," she said in a whisper. "Well, Miss Lily," he said, "sometimes, when the world feels too loud, a few quiet bubbles can help. Want to try?" He handed her the wand. Tentatively, she blew. A thin stream of bubbles fluttered out. For a moment, they both watched them dance through the hall. What neither of them knew was that someone else had been watching too. From the hallway corner, hidden behind a marble column, a woman stood frozen, her phone forgotten. In her hand, her tailored dress, heels, and pearl earrings didn't belong in this hallway. But she wasn't thinking about that anymore. That little girl, Lily, she was her daughter, Margot Blakesy, EO, of one of the largest tech firms in the country, worth over $1 billion, had rushed to pick up her daughter after getting a panicked call from the school counselor. Lily had suffered another silent panic attack. She wouldn't speak, wouldn't move. Teachers couldn't get through to her. But then came the janitor, the man with the mop and the warm eyes. Margot had watched the entire thing, the bubbles, the cross-legged patience, the kindness without agenda. Later that evening, Tom was wiping down the cafeteria tables when the principal called him into the office. He looked nervous walking in, wondering if he'd somehow messed up. Margot stood waiting, elegant and composed. Tom didn't recognize her, but he felt her presence immediately. "You're Mr. Reynolds?" she asked. Tom nodded. "Yes, ma'am. I hope everything's okay." She stepped forward, her voice soft but purposeful. "You calmed my daughter today. With ... bubbles." "Oh," Tom said, scratching the back of his neck. "She just needed someone to see her. That's all." Margot's throat tightened. She had staff, nannies, even therapists. But none had reached Lily the way this janitor had in 5 quiet minutes, sitting on the floor, blowing bubbles. "I'd like to offer you a position," she said, "at my company." Tom blinked. "Ma'am?" She smiled. "You have something we can't train. Compassion. People like you make places better." I need a community coordinator, someone who looks after people, who listens, who leads with heart. Tom hesitated. I'm a janitor. You're more than that, she said. You're exactly what the world needs more of. A few months later, Tom sat in a bright office overlooking the city. Emma was enrolled in one of the best schools in town. Thanks to a full scholarship, Margot insisted on Lily, and Emma had become fast friends. And sometimes, when Lily would visit the office after school, Tom would pull out the old bottle of bubbles, just to make her smile. He still kept it in his pocket, not because he needed it for work anymore, but because it reminded him of who he was. A dad, a helper, a man who didn't need to be rich to change someone's world. Sometimes, it's the smallest acts of kindness done quietly, humbly, and with no expectation that create the loudest echoes in a world obsessed with titles and wealth. Never underestimate the heart of a single dad, a janitor, or a bottle of bubbles, because love shows up in the most unexpected places.